Hi, it's Fiona from Get Your Rock Out. I'm here with Cormac from The Answer. Hello, nice to see you again.
Hello Fiona, good to see you.
So how's it going? This is your first date in England of this tour, is it?
It is, yeah. It's kind of the start of a really long tour that's going to span about the next 6 months, give or take. Kicked off in Belfast on Friday night there. We did Belfast and Dublin, and then had a travel day to get to Manchester today. And this is the start of the main UK leg of the tour. It runs to the end of March, and then we head to Europe for 5 or 6 weeks, and we do a bunch of festivals, and we go to America, and then we come home around about mid-autumn for a big sleep.
Oh my word, that's a long old slog. I remember last time we spoke, I remember saying that to you last year, that it was a long old slog, last year's tour.
Yeah.
And is that...
I think touring, I think it's the same for any band, you know, a tour, a proper tour is going to be a long slog, you know, but that's what we do, you know, we can't complain.
Absolutely. Now I suppose you've got the festivals in there, everything's a bit different as well.
Yeah, festivals is a different vibe, mainly because you're only really working at the weekend, you
yeah.
know, and obviously the crowds it's a different atmosphere out there because not everybody's there to see you, and you know, you get a nice sunny day, 4 or 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon at a festival. There's no better feeling like it, you know.
Yeah, well that was me last year at Download, beer on the grass, lovely warm day, watching you guys. It was fantastic.
That was a quality weekend.
Yeah. Good, it was really good. So this tour is to promote your new album, which is out today, am I right?
Today, yeah.
Today, fantastic. So how's that been, a whole back in the studio? Because it's not that long since your last album, is it?
No, it's been a quick old turnover. Funny, we started writing it around about Download last year, you know. We started writing it during the festivals because we had a few days in the middle of the week to play with, and that's whenever we really kind of got in there and got all the ideas out and started chipping those ideas into songs. And then the end of summer we took about a month of kind of proper concentrated work on it, and by that stage we were ready to head to, we went to Spain to record this one, so we were ready to head over to Madrid and get the record down. So it's been good. It's all felt quite natural and free flowing, and it was an awful lot of fun this time around as well.
Yeah, natural and free flowing, but a lot of hard work there. I mean, obviously it's what you're passionate about, so maybe it doesn't feel like work all the time, but
yeah, it takes a bit of focus, takes a bit of drive, but you know, this is what we do. This is our full-time job essentially. So we're not getting up and heading into an office at 9 every morning. Like, I couldn't do that. You know? No. So hats off. But you know, I think, you know, if you're a full-time musician, you have a responsibility to consistently keep putting good quality music out there, you know. It's not as black and white as that. If it's happening, it's happening. If it's not, you need to take a break and clear the head for a little while. But thankfully with Raise a Little Hell, it happened. So.
Oh, good. I'm glad about that. Do you think that I'm thinking about things like X Factor and The Voice, and that give people sort of a false perspective of how easy it is, what an easy job it is to go out and play to people every night? And do you think people want it all to be handed to them on a plate, instead of the picture you paint is of somebody who's a band who are very passionate about their music, this is the job and that's what they're focused on all the time? But I do get the impression that a lot of people think that it's something that's going to happen for them overnight. Yeah,
I mean, people that think like that, I don't think, you know, do they ever even get off the ground?
No, they just go on TV.
But if they do, their flame doesn't burn brightly for too long, I think. But yeah, I mean, I have no idea what perspective X Factor is responsible for at the moment, but you know, definitely for us, it's always been about getting our hands dirty and working a fan base from the ground up, really. And I think, you know, a lot of bands, once you get, you know, your first record deal or your first taste of success, and you become a full-time touring band, I think it doesn't take long before you realise that you have to really put the work in to get anywhere really in this business.
Absolutely, and keep plugging it and keep going. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Can't just rely on our God-given natural talent.
No, that's it. Come to me now. Well, what about your fans then? Because they're a pretty loyal bunch, aren't they, your fans?
They are, yeah, thankfully. We wouldn't still be full-time musicians without them, I'll tell you that. Yeah, they're great. You know, I think part of the loyalty stems from our grassroots ethos. You know, I mean, we're never afraid to take our music to a little bit off the beaten track. You know, we've played a lot of towns and cities across the UK at this stage, and we you know, we're on our 5th record now, so we've been doing it for a relatively long time. And you know, I'd like to think that we have like a certain level of quality control whenever it comes to putting records out. You know, so we never shortchange our audience. You know, we hold them in very high regard, and thankfully, I think the feeling's mutual.
I know you say you've said before about you never make the same record twice. That you're always looking for something slightly different. So this new album, is that something slightly different? I apologise, I've not heard it yet because it's only out today.
That's quite all right. Yes. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's another stage in our development as a band. You know, I think if you had 5 or 6 hours to spare and you listen to all our 5 albums, you can notice an evolution that takes place there. And as I said to you already, that, you know, every record is different, but at the same time, I don't think we've ever lost track of the ethos of the band. You know, where it all stems from in the first place. And this album particularly, it just felt right. You know, we didn't have to really work too hard. You know, it didn't feel like a job. It felt like we were having fun, like whenever we were making our first album all over again, and there were no pressures from record companies and management and even fans, because everybody has an opinion as to what kind of record you should make. And I think this time around we were able to block out that background noise, and that really, you can hear that in the album. You know, just you can hear 4 guys in a room having an awful lot of fun.
Do you think that's because you've matured ever so slightly? Do you think that's so you're less driven by what other people want or what other people think you're making it for, more for yourselves?
Yeah, I think definitely we made this one very much for ourselves, and as a result, you know, it's a very colourful record. You know, I think the diversity of the band comes through in this one probably more so than the last couple, and it just, as I say, it just felt natural and easy, and if you're making organic kind of blues-based rock and roll music, that's the way it's got to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So what's your favourite track on this album then?
Love all. Yeah, I suppose we're playing a bunch of them live on this tour, and the first couple of shows have all gone down well. You know, Last Days of Summer's been a lot of fun. It's one of those tunes that gets longer every time we play it. So it's good fun. And the new single, Red, we play that kind of relatively early on in the set. And it's one of the tunes where I try and engage the audience, you know, get a bit of a sing-along going and stuff, and a bit of interaction. And it's worked a treat so far, you know, so that's always a good feeling whenever the audience are sharing in the experience.
Good, yeah, absolutely. Red, is that the one? Because I've only seen a still with the video with the big monsters.
That's the one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, is that you guys in the monsters?
It is
Is
actually.
it?
Yeah.
That must have been hilarious.
It was. I tell you, the first half of the music video was freezing. It was in this deserted mill in the Northern Irish countryside at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, no heat obviously, and it was really, really cold. And then the second half, the monster costumes came on, and it was really, really hot, you know, so we just couldn't get the balance right at all. But yeah, you know, I mean, the premise of the video was to have real us having a rock off with monster us, you know, and the monsters were meant to impersonate us and kind of take the piss, and you know, no better people to take the piss out of us than ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, the costumes came out. We actually got one of the costume designers from Game of Thrones to design those costumes.
Oh, really?
They do a lot of work in Belfast. You know, the studios they shoot a lot of stuff in Titanic Studios. So you know, we had a couple of contacts there, and the girl that made the costumes did a fantastic job.
Oh, brilliant. I think what we're going to have to do is put a link from this interview to that video so people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, don't judge us.
No, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it came out well.
Right, well, I'm going to let you go and get ready for your show. It's been lovely talking to you again. Did you want to hear my joke before we go?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. What's the bare minimum?
Don't know.
One bear. Thank you. I'll get my
Cut.
coat.